Hi, I'm Jay Reamy, and I work in information and education at the Department of Fish and Wildlife here in Oregon. Today we're going to show you how to make a very cheap, very easy fishing spear so you can go down to the Coquille River and spear some smallmouth bass, or you can go to your favorite stream and spear pike minnows. But it's fast and easy, and I'm going to show you how to do it. This is what we're going to build right here. And I'll show you how it works real quick. It's basically just a broomstick with a spear point on it, and the muscle is right here. It's these rubber bands. So what you do when you use it is you pull back and you hold the shaft of the spear like that, and when you release it, and I'm not really going to do it here, but when you're in the water and you let go like that, the rubber bands just propel the spear forward quickly and spear your fish. So it's real simple. All there is a couple of rubber bands on the butt end of the broomstick and a spear point on the business end. And I'm going to show you how to do all this. Okay, so what you're going to need for back here at the butt end is some way to fix your rubber band loops to the butt end of the spear. So what we're going to do is drill a hole. So you're going to need a drill with maybe a 3/16" bit on it. And you're going to drill a hole in the butt. You're going to need something to wrap your rubber bands onto the spear with. So I've got a bootlace here. I've used wire in the past. You can use paracord, whatever you want. You need your surgical tubing. Again, that gives you the power and the speed that you need. And you can just buy this at the sporting goods store. Pair of scissors, duct tape. Every project requires duct tape. You're going to need just a Phillips head screwdriver and a couple of screws that you're going to use to fix the spearhead onto the point, and a little tiny drill bit for pilot holes for those. Now these things often come with a bolt that goes all the way through, but I prefer to just use one screw in from each side, and I'll tell you why later. Okay, when you're spearfishing, you try not to hit the rocks, but as hard as you try, occasionally you're going to hit rocks. So what you're going to need to be ready to do in the field is repair or replace the spear point. So it's just this part right here. So I'm going to walk you through the things you're going to need. First thing you're going to need is a file in case you just dull the points. Whether you're hitting a lot of fish or you hit the occasional rock, you may need to take a file and dress up those points. You may just need to straighten the points. That's what the pliers are for, just to straighten out your points. If you have to replace, though, you're going to need a new point, so make sure you take one of these with you, and then take a screwdriver, and the type of screwdriver depends on what type of head is on the screw you use to put the head on there in the first place, so either regular or Phillips. So make sure you take this stuff with you when you go out in the field so you don't hit a rock and ruin your whole trip. So then the final step is going to be to put the point on. So all we're going to do is unwrap this, put it on there, mark the holes. These things come with a hole in each side. And then we're going to take a tiny little drill bit to make pilot holes right here where these things go so that we can put screws in to hold the point on. And I like to use little screws like this because they're much easier to change out in the field as opposed to that bolt that goes all the way through. And so the first thing we're going to do is we're going to take our rubber bands, we're going to cut them so they're exactly the same length, and we're going to tie knots in the end. Then we're going to wrap a little duct tape around them, like this here, so that we can protect them from whatever we wrap around the spear to help hold them in place. So once we've got those loops made, then we're going to drill a hole through about an inch, inch and a half in from the butt of the stick that we can run, in this case it's going to be our bootlace that we're going to run through there to then go ahead and tie those rubber bands onto the spear. And then that's pretty much it for the butt end. Okay, so now that we've got the rubber bands on, we're well more than halfway home. We've got a functional spear, we just don't have a point on it yet. So if you want to practice a little bit at home and get the feel for it, you don't want to ruin your fishing point. So I would just wait and not put the fishing point on until you're ready to go to the river. And obviously you can learn as you do in the river, but if you set up a target at home, use an old cardboard box or a bale of straw or whatever, put it up at eye level, because when you're swimming along horizontally, you're not going to be standing upright. So just kind of get that feel for being able to look down your arm, okay, and you're going to aim down your arm, and you've got the rubber band pulled back, so it's got all that energy ready to go. And to shoot, all you do is just release your grip. You don't let go. The whole thing doesn't fly out of your hand because you want your hand to loosely guide it to the target, right? So it never leaves your hand really. But I'm just going to go ahead and take a practice shot, and I don't have it pulled all the way back, so it's not going to shoot super hard. Okay, I'm going to have to get closer. But again, I'm trying not to pull it back full force like I would when I was fishing. But it gives you the idea of how to kind of sight down your arm and say that yellow part's a fish, and I've got my spear point on there. Hopefully I can get him. Okay. One trick is if they're out a little farther and you need more reach, only use one band because you get less power, but you get more range that way, and it'll shoot farther easier. See? So just pick that target, like I'm using that yellow thing. Just taking a few shots like that. And when you're in the water, you may want both bands for power. You also might want to kick so you're swimming towards the fish. And you may even want to give a little bit of arm motion straight forward to give you maximum power if you're trying to go like through the gill plates on a big fish. But that's all there is to it. See how I kind of stepped into it, but I still hit the bullseye? Okay. So this is the part that actually gets your fish for you. It's the point. And so as I told you earlier, it has a couple of holes in there. I don't know if you can see them, but it's made so that you can put a little bolt all the way through. And I don't really think that's necessary. And I think it's easier, especially once they've been on there for a while, if they rust at all, it's easier just to put 2 screws or even just 1 screw in. So all I do is just put this on there and do 1. So I've got a little tiny drill bit. It's like, I guess, a 1/16 of an inch or something like that, just for a little pilot hole for these screws because they're awfully small. You drill that pilot hole and then you just put a screw in there. But once that's in there, so you know where the other hole is supposed to go, you go ahead and drill a pilot hole for the other one. Oops. Okay. So all I'm doing is just cinching that down with a couple of screws, and they don't have to go in all the way. But if you can get them to go in tight, it'll just hold the head on there a little bit tighter. Here. Safety, just take a piece of cardboard and some duct tape and make a little cover to go over the spear point so that when you're transporting it, you don't hurt yourself and you don't put a big rip in the upholstery of your car. So it just goes over the point like that. And then I got another old bootlace that I'm just going to tie that on with, and then it can go in your car or your closet and not poke anybody. So that's all it is. It's a piece of cardboard, the width a little bit wider than the spear point, folded over, taped shut tightly so that it just fits tight, and then you got a bootlace here to tie it on, and then you're safe. Okay, so all in all, we've got less than 20 bucks invested in our spear here. I've got $6 into my spearhead, another 6 into a spare, but you can get them cheaper than that. You can order them online easily. This is a broom handle. Actually, this one is a replacement garden rake handle, and we threw a coat of varathane on it just so it never splinters and runs a splinter through our hand. So that was 6. So now you're up to about 12 bucks. The surgical tubing was about $3.79, I think. So what does that put us at? 15, 16 bucks. And if you have used bootlaces and you already own a drill, that's about it. So you're well under 20 bucks. Now you're ready to head to the Coquille River and shoot some smallmouth. But again, safety first. Don't ever point this at anybody. And if you don't swim, you don't dive, okay? Don't risk your life. But if you know how to swim, it's great fun. Get out there and go spearfishing, and you never know. You may fall in love with spearfishing. Thanks.